Today we're talking about real estate marketing for open houses. It's easy to host open house, but not every agent knows how to make it an effective, consistent strategy to earn business. We're talking today about specifically how to drive traffic to your open house, but stick around till the end and we'll show you how to convert attendees into clients with some very simple basic open house scripts. Also, if you're interested in being part of our referral mastermind calls, send me an email. My info's in the description below. Open houses are an exceptional marketing strategy for a number of reasons. One of which being it helps keep the seller happy so that even if you don't have showings, you can get consistent feedback from the public when you do an open house. You can also drive additional traffic to your listing, and it does as well help create some word of mouth marketing that helps create spin-off business for you and the seller when you host open house. And it does add depth to your geographical farming efforts if you're looking to be the expert in a specific neighborhood. And if you don't have listings, it puts your name on a property that is currently for sale. And if you put up a lot of open house signs, everybody will see you and recognize you as the go-to person. The most important factor, however, is that when you do open houses, it is right now business, which is the reason why I'm so excited to dig into the details of how to make this work for you. Once you've scheduled your open house, one of the first things you can do is drive over to that property and do a video virtual tour for the listing. And then when you post on social media, don't just put the photos, put this little virtual tour and talk about your open house that's coming up on the weekend so that people will be more engaged in the content that you're putting out on social media, and it will automatically create curiosity for what you have going on during the weekend for your business. Use ChatGPT to help a really nice fancy listing description for this property when you post your open house, but also use your email marketing list to let them know that you're hosting open house. And one step further, anybody and everybody that you know that lives in that neighborhood should be getting a phone call from you to either invite them to that open house or just to say, hey, I'm gonna be in your neighborhood this weekend. If you're in the area at all and you're not busy, you should stop by and say hi. Whether there's traffic or not, it would be great to see you in person, and either way, always great to be in touch. I just thought of you because I'm going to be in the area. When you get to the property, make sure that you are well prepared ahead of time with physical marketing materials like a map of the neighborhood as an example, a feature sheet or a flyer for the house with limited information on it and a QR code for them to dig in for more information. And when they click that QR code, they have to put their name and their email address to get the rest of the additional information. One step further, you could actually print off a variety of other properties in the neighborhood that are already currently for sale, and you could go ahead and schedule preview appointments for after your open house so that you can go look at those properties afterwards. And then when buyers come to the property, you can say, hey, here's another few properties that are in the area that I'm going to open up later after this property. If you want to join me, feel free to stop by at such and such of time. If you are interested, what's your number? Text me your email address so that I can give you a heads up on the way over, or vice versa, and boom, you have literally just set your first appointment from that open house, and you've also created some value for you to collect their contact information when you have that conversation with them. When you're putting up your signs, put up more than just 1 or 2 or 3 open house signs. Literally push the envelope as far as you can with the local bylaws for the signage in your neighborhood. If you put up 10 signs or 20 open house signs, you are going to get twice the amount of traffic as you would just get when you bring in online traffic. And the best thing about bringing traffic from the neighborhood is that they are so early in the process that they probably don't have a real estate agent that they are working with yet. Whereas when you do your online marketing efforts for the open house, there's a much stronger chance of that particular buyer already having an agent if they're already actively shopping online. If you're already doing multiple open houses in the area, the big benefit to doing that is that people see your signs on a consistent, regular basis, and without thinking about it, 2, 3, 4, 5 weekends in a row, they see multiple open house signs from you, so that when they finally do stop in at your open house because they know they have a real estate need coming up some point in the next year or so, they're going to think that they've been seeing you for months, even though they might have only been seeing you for weeks. And once you start consistently doing open houses on a regular basis and you have contact information for people, if you are going to host a similar open house in that same neighborhood, you now have a list of people who are actively looking in the area that you can invite to your next open house. When you do your social media posts for the listing that you're hosting open house for, if it's not your listing, make sure that you tag the listing agent's contact in your post so that you get the additional exposure for that property to drive traffic to that listing on the open house. And take it one step further, have a mortgage broker join you for the open house and tag the mortgage broker in that post for open house as well to drive additional traffic to the open house. If the property isn't staged, do everything that you can to create an atmosphere and an ambiance that's very welcoming, because when people come to your open house, you want it to be an experience. When people are out shopping at open houses, they are literally judging the agent the moment they walk in the door. They're judging you from your signage, your appearance, your greeting, the way that the home stages, the way that the home smells and looks. And if you can create an experience that blows them away from any other property that they viewed that day or that month, you are much more likely to convert that attendee into a client. And one step further, if the property is staged and you can get them to sit down and have a conversation with you at the kitchen table, that is really going to solidify a trusting working relationship for you to represent them as their agent. When buyers walk through the door, make sure that you are very approachable. Make sure that you do greet them, but also make sure that you respect their personal boundaries. Keep a safe distance, offer to show them the house, but don't follow them around the house. I've seen agents do this and it is not a good scene. Don't turn your back on these people. Walk yourself into the kitchen, have a brief conversation with them, ask them a few qualifying questions, and then whether or not you tour them around the house, make sure that you are present and there with them as they exit the home so that you can ask a few more questions. And if you haven't already had any lengthy conversation with them, that is your final opportunity to create value, to have a conversation and potentially collect their contact information. Beware of the chatty Cathy, because if you have a tire kicker that always wants to talk about real estate but has no intentions of working with you or buying a house anytime in the near future, you might miss out on that cash buyer that really just wants to see what the house is and they want to write an offer potentially right on the spot. And always make sure that you are previewing property in the area that you're hosting open houses, because even if you don't have a ton of experience in that particular neighborhood, if you've previewed all of the property out there, you know what else is for sale, what else is recently sold, what features and benefits and styles of homes are currently available for sale, and specifically the nuances of how those properties compare to this one that you're currently hosting right now. And when you're having that conversation with a potential client and you're giving them all of this additional value add based on your knowledge and experience, because you've been actively out looking at all of the rest of the properties that are for sale in that neighborhood, they are going to see you as the knowledgeable expert that they want to do business with, and that it is that much more likely that you will be able to collect their contact information, because you will say, hey, did you see that property over at 123 King Street? It just popped up 5 days ago. I was there earlier today and it had this, and this as compared to this particular property. If you'd be at all interested, I could send that property to you if you just text me your email address. Then you collect their cell phone number and their email. And at the end of the day, the fortune is in the follow-up, folks. If you generate a whole bunch of leads, but you don't keep in touch with them and add value to them afterwards, the open house is a waste of time, especially considering you're not just there to sell the house. You're there to drive traffic and collect feedback for the house. You're there to promote that open house by word of mouth, and you're there to meet people for potential future business and people that you can add to your database. And if you are doing geographical farming for door knocking and cold calling, just listed and just sold, how much better is it when you can invite somebody to an in-person event where you could meet them and have a conversation with them? And the bad leads always hide the good ones, so always focus on one customer, one client, one house at a time. I hope you found some value. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to be a part of our referral mastermind calls, my email's in the description below, and I will see you on this video next. Have a fantastic day.